As you can probably tell from this different background, we're going to be talking about something a little different today. Today, I wanted to take a look at a movie that captivated me when I was younger, and that movie was April Fool's Day, directed by Fred Walton from 1986. It was arguably my first mystery horror movie. My first horror movie being Lake Placid, which I was traumatized by the gator and gore, and at that point I had never seen another horror movie before, so I didn't get the nuance that it was actually a funny horror movie. I was just scared. But April Fool's Day was different. As much as a lot of things went over my head because of my age, from the gimp mask to the mention of abortion and the illusions of smoking pot, I was genuinely engaged by the suspense of it. Now, mind you, when I say young, I mean young. Like, to the point where I got to the end of the movie and I didn't understand the twist, even though they literally just told me what it was. I rewatched that movie back then several times with a pad of paper, and I wrote down the characters' names and their motivations, and where they were and when to line up whether actually the movie was lying to me, and this would have been possible to pull off in any capacity. I was oddly invested, even though I didn't know a lot of what I was watching, and I wanted to rewatch April Fool's Day to figure out why. Why do I have a vague memory of me making character sheets to figure out the mystery before it was given to me, when in the end it really was literally just given to me? And most of the answer to this is, in fact, that I had no reference for other movies to go off of. I didn't know that the cat jump scare in the boathouse was expectedly meta, or that there was no way in cinematic history that Nikki wasn't going to fall into that well. These things were surprises to me when they wouldn't have surprised literally anyone else, regardless of how old the movie actually is. But there was something about April Fool's Day that stuck with me. It's a simple premise, executed with care, aside from oversights of the time of filming, like representing how you actually smoke pot or what a spliff looks like. The pranks of April Fool's Day continuously ramp in their intensiveness and timeliness, so it's genuinely fun seeing what happens next, which mixes well with the mystery. The characters were engaging to me too, because they weren't what I expected. The good girls had an abortion, the slutty girl takes action and doesn't rely on men, the nerdy guy gets laid, the smartass is actually kind of funny and not just rude, the prankster puts a lot of guilt on his own shoulders, the businessman incel at no point gets condescending to the women that he does in bed, the sweetheart couple doesn't communicate well, and the actors were all fairly loose and fluid. They weren't flat characters, at least not for me. But you know what struck me the most when watching it again? The soundtrack. Immediately, it was the OST that got me straight into nostalgia. There's two iconic soundtracks that play off each other. One is a lighthearted music box jingle, ramping to an ominous undertone, and the other is an eerie sort of echoing that reminds me of a loon on a silent lake. And just this music alone is enough to set the tone for the mystery of the movie. And I know that because I never understood the opening sequence when I watched it as a kid, or its conclusion at the end as the tie-in. But watching it now, April Fool's Day is a testament to the care that used to be put into movies, and how much viewers weren't given explicit exposition, spoon-fed meaning. Some people might watch the opening and think it was a cheap, meaningless jump scare to go with the opening credits, or they could look at the movie as a whole and see it as a thesis, why the rest of the events in the movie transpire. Because as much as Muffy got the shit scared out of her with a prank box when she was a kid, she also internalized the adults laughing at her. She grew up in a love-hate relationship with pranks, understanding that the best ones, the most satisfying ones, are the ones that come with inducing genuine fear. And that's what April Fool's Day is. A celebration of almost taking pranks too far, and finding the greatest pleasure in towing that line. So, yeah, I don't know. I thought it would be fun to go back and look at a movie that stuck with me all these years. Until I decided to rewatch it for this video, though, I had no idea that April Fool's Day had a remake in 2008, so now I'm super excited to watch that, and see if it captures my attention or sparks my sense of nostalgia like the original. Let me know if you've seen either of them, but if you've seen the remake, no spoilers, please. Just tell me whether it lived up to the name or not. You can expect to see a video from me in the near future on watching that one, so keep an eye out. As always, thank you so much for watching. Bye!